Cheers.
Richard Detering, welcome to The Growth Concept.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Taste test.
Very good.
Wow. First time trying Ghost Energy.
Really?
Yeah, first time I've ever
There we
tried
go.
it. It
There we
tastes a
go.
bit like, you know when you're 17 and you're like, oh, boys, I got a party coming up. So you sneak some vodka from your mum
Yeah,
so she
yeah.
doesn't know. And it
Yeah.
tastes a bit like that.
Yeah. This is something you'd mix it with, for sure.
Yeah, no thanks.
I'll
Richard.
finish it off.
Welcome to The Growth Concept. I'm super excited for this conversation, man. I feel like the goal for, like, my point of view for this episode is an episode that you've never done before.
Yeah. That's
What are
cool.
your expectations on the way we've planned things out and what you're hoping to get out of this episode?
No, I'm keen because like I said to you when we grabbed coffee the other day, it was like there is always a similar structure to most podcasts, or there's only so many questions you can ask a bloke about his story. And I actually said this on the last podcast I was on. You know, I've told my story many different times in different ways. So yeah, what we've got planned should be cool. Bit of a different take on a podcast.
Yeah, hell yeah. And man, thank you so much for this shirt. For the
Yeah.
listeners, you can't see it, but for the viewers, beautiful shirt. We shall put it on.
Right
Now,
now.
this is not a strip show. Let's make it clear.
Tune out now if you don't want to see it.
Clickbait. The host, Kearney Upton, strips on The Growth Concept.
There we go. Perfect fit.
Bro,
Look at that. I should have ironed it for you if I knew you putting it on.
works out well.
Double shirt.
Thank you, man. This is
Hopefully you're not-
wicked.
Hopefully you're not going to sweat through it.
Yeah, got the
We'll get
aircon on. It
aircon
should
on,
be
yeah.
alright.
Yeah.
Richard, I want to take a bit of a different approach to the introduction for this episode with you. You've spoken a lot about the business that you're in, your coaching, and the transition from FIFO to your online coaching. But I feel like so many people know you and have been coached by you, and you've networked with so many different people
Yeah.
in Perth. But beyond these titles of fitness instructor, FIFO worker, what you're seeing online, I want to get into the more behind the brand
Yeah.
of Richard. I feel
do
like
it.
that's super exciting because we're all human, man.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's
Like,
got a story.
I've fucked up. You've probably fucked up
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
And it's these experiences which are untold is what makes us human. So I'd like you to share three significant moments in your life which the listeners, viewers, even your missus has no idea about. Whether that's from school, growing up, or some
Yeah.
gym side of thing. Let's hear it, man.
Damn, I've actually got a lot. They're all coming to me now. But I guess one that not even my girlfriend knows about. So my parents owned a hunting and safari farm in Africa. Huge farm, 15,000 hectares. And we had a lot of water troughs where the animals could come. We also had some cattle. So Dad was also a cattle farmer.
Wow.
So I was super young. We moved away from Africa when I was 6, so quite young still. We always used to check on, Dad used to do some maintenance on the troughs, whatever, just walk around. I used to always walk around the area where that watering hole was, if you want to call it that, because a lot of times animals would come down and they'd have some sort of fight or a tussle or whatever. And especially warthogs, they love to just get at it at those water holes. And sometimes they break off like a tusk or something, and you'd be able to find cool shit in the mud.
No shit.
So
So when
that's-
you say troughs, is it
Yeah.
like what I'm picturing, like a trough of like water?
Yeah, I
for
mean,
animals?
it's different. Sometimes it's literally just a hole in the ground, like a circular hole, cemented in, and then there's a pump and it fills with water. But a lot of them are just troughs with like a bit of a water level. So as soon as the water
right.
drops below a certain point, it fills it back up. So animals
yeah.
come down, and you have the water troughs, and then big salt rocks, because animals don't get a lot of minerals from the bush that they eat because it's very dry and
And this was
bland.
in Africa
Yeah,
when you lived
yeah,
there. Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So Dad would put out salt rocks so that they can lick them and get some minerals from them.
oh shit.
So same with the cows as well, because of what they're eating. Their minerals are just so low in that sort of scrub that they're eating. But anyway, I was walking around doing my usual rounds, and I actually stepped in a little trap. So we'd get poachers on the farm that would come in and try and catch animals with like traps. A lot of them would be, I don't know what they're called. It's like it's like a half moon. It opens up, and you put a little twig or something in it that holds it
Oh
open.
man, is it like those bear traps?
Yeah, bear trap.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Except it's not the size of a bear trap. You have different sizes
Yeah.
of traps. And yeah, I stepped in it with my foot, and lucky for me, they tried to bury it in some of the cow dung and stuff that was on the floor. So when it slammed shut, there was actually a lot of dirt and cow dung between the claws, if you will, and my leg, which is the only reason why my leg didn't get snapped off or whatever.
Wow.
And Dad thought I got stung by a bee. So I was screaming because I'd stepped in this thing, and he came running over. He thought I got stung by a bee, and then he saw that. He was like, oh my God. So
Was it hidden?
yeah. The goal of those things is to be as hidden as possible. Animals walk up to the water trough, and then they get stuck in it, and they can't go anywhere because it's tied down to the ground. So then you can come in, or the poacher can come in and then kill the animal or whatever.
Wow.
So yeah, I didn't see. Obviously, being a kid as well, just running around,
Yeah.
doing.
Did you know where these traps were? Or?
No. They're set by random poachers that come onto the farm. So
But this is on your property.
yeah. Do you know what a poacher is?
Oh, someone who hunts animals?
Illegally.
Elite. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that wasn't a part of our thing. Those traps are set by the local poachers that want to
No shit.
hunt animals illegally. So a lot of the ones that they use as well were like snare type traps that you'd wrap around like a tree, and it would be like a sling. So it would
Whoa.
when it would tighten. If an animal walks through it, they get stuck in it, and then it would tighten. The more they pull on it, the more it sort of tightens, kind of thing.
Wow.
And then they'd be able to come back and have a look at their traps, and grab the animals and kill them and use them for meat or whatever.
Wow. Was
So,
that scary for you?
I don't really remember it, to be
Okay.
honest. I would have been like 4, 5, 6 years old, just old enough to walk. But no, it definitely would have been in the moment, 100%. Yeah, Dad had to come and open it up, and then,
Is it as simple as just?
yeah, you just open
like-
it back up, and because
Yeah,
it was
right.
only a smaller one, and obviously Dad's dad, he just ripped it open. Yeah, literally. He's 6'4". He's a strong.
Wow.
Man, so.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, story one: you walked into this trap and you didn't know
What was going on?
what was going
Yeah.
on. You were obviously so
sure.
worried. Like
Yeah.
that could have easily taken off your leg if, as you were saying, if that stuff
especially
wasn't in
because
the
I
way.
was, like I said, I was like 4 or 5 years old, so don't have the biggest, strongest ankles, and then you step in this thing, and it just. But yeah,
That's
lucky
nuts.
there was they put too much dirt on it, so it didn't really shut or slam shut properly.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So this was Africa.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Germany.
Then I moved to Melbourne, then I moved to Toowoomba, then Germany, and then Perth.
Right. Okay. Let's hear about your experience in Germany. Do you have?
Yeah,
Because you were. How old were you?
it was 2009, so it would have been 11.
11.
Yeah.
So this is when the mind starts remembering things and stuff. What significant memory or experience did you have with jumping between so many places to live over this time in your life? Because you were so young, man. So you had to go to school, had to make new friends all of a sudden.
It was crazy.
What was all of this experience like for you?
It was very character building. That's a nice way to put it. And reflecting on it, I think that's the best way to process it all, I think. And obviously I had no real choice, and my parents didn't either. They had to, move around and do all that kind of stuff. But I think it's interesting because the cultures are so different and schools are so different as well. So it just opens your eyes to, a whole new way of life. And it was cool interesting because in Australia, I had been here for, 6-ish years in Melbourne. So I grew up with all those people, had some really close friends that I had to leave. We lived in Toowoomba for 9 months, so I didn't really get to make a lot of friends. I was sort of the outcast there, but then was moved away from that. And then when I came to Germany, because they speak English there as a second language in school, people have it as a subject, I was able to speak fluent English. So a lot of people were like, damn, that's really cool. So I wasn't the cool kid, but everyone sort of liked me for, even if they didn't like me, they were like, hey, at least, he has this cool thing that we can lean on him for or whatnot. And
Especially in tests.
yeah, exactly.
Yo,
And
bro.
there was a few
Yeah.
times when the English teacher would put something on the board, and I'm like, are you sure that's right? And she'd hate me for it. She'd hate me for it. And it sucks because she actually had me for another class and always used to just take the piss out of me there because she was like, you don't know maths as well as you do English, so fuck yeah. But yeah, so no, it was really cool. Their way of life is so different. They start high school in year 7, so I guess that's the same. Or is it? No. They start in year 5. I can't remember. They start really young. Primary school only goes up to year 4, I think, from memory, because I went straight into high school, if you want to call it that, in year 5. Yeah.
Right. Wow.
So,
okay.
And they have a very structured approach to their schooling. So in year 5, you'd have different subjects. You wouldn't have a class. Like in Australia, you'd have one class and then you'd go to your maths teacher, you'd go to this teacher, or you'd have one teacher that did maybe 3 different things, 3 different subjects. But here you had maths with these students, you had science with these kids, and then, you already had a second and a third language that you were learning in year 5. And they split things up into chemistry, physics, and stuff like that in year 5 already, which is crazy.
Was that hard making new friends for you? Were you I remember you saying in another podcast you were introverted.
Yeah.
During your younger years.
Yeah.
Did that make it a lot harder to connect, or were you consciously?
I think Germany was one of the easiest places I was able to make friends because I came in and I was this interesting kid from Australia that had just rocked up, and I feel like the people that I was with, or that age group, sort of, a lot of them just were a lot more open and whatnot to hanging out and to doing things like that. Because when I came back to Perth, I was an outcast, complete outcast, because I was the weird German kid coming from Germany. So it was complete. There was times when we came back to Perth in year 8, I didn't want to go to school because I was like, this fucking sucks. It was terrible.
Right.
So in Germany, I didn't really struggle at all. I feel like my parents had some friends there. We had a lot of family there. So it was just like, we sort of felt a bit more at home, I guess. Had my grandma there that we were living with for the first year. So there was a lot more connections there. And it was, you were sort of like, people sort of saw the skill of me speaking English and they were like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And where I'd come from in the story and that kind of stuff. Whereas when I came back to, like I said, Perth, I feel like it was just that age as well. Like that was year 8. So how old would we have been? Maybe 14 or something. People start to mature a bit more and, you start getting a bit more divided with your groups and purple circles and stuff like that. So because I hadn't had any primary school friends that moved up to high school with me in Perth, it was a lot harder for me to make friends.
Did you ever have a rebellious phase in school? Because I know in Perth, I'm from Perth, born Perth, boring Perth guy. I only know what I know. But I know in year 9 for males in high school, it's like you steal air fresheners, smash them in the toilet, or you spear tackle bins in each other. It's like a pretty rough year for just doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
Did you have any experience like that when you were growing up?
I think as soon as I found my feet and my friends, it didn't stop at all. It was from your end of year 8 all the way through to year 12.
Wow.
Even in Germany, there was one teacher. There's another story that you can put on your. We'll do more than 3 at this point.
Oh, fucking oath, man. This is sick. I'm enjoying this.
One of the teachers that I had in Germany told me that I would never amount to anything and that I am one of the biggest failures he's ever had to deal with. Because
straight to your face?
To my parents' face, yeah.
What?
Yeah, wild. I actually really want to meet him. I actually want to go back and be like, hey, what? See ya.
I bet you I could pick you up with one finger.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, what were we talking about? Oh, rebellious period. Yeah, I've always been a class clown. I've always had a sense of humor where I would be loud, obnoxious, sort of, take the piss. Even though I was quite shy and introverted in certain situations, if I felt comfortable or had my friends around me, I was always the loud guy, always the class clown. So that, as you can imagine, has led to many different, issues. Even now, I'm remembering a lot of things here. This is sick. We're going to be here for hours.
Yeah.
In primary school once, we went on a camp. This was year 5 camp, I think. And
the school camps. This is going to get to the good shit, man.
This is where the Nintendo DSi came out. So the first one with the camera.
Yeah.
And you could have chat rooms and stuff. So we brought them on camp and we created this chat room and everyone came over to, we had the cool room, like with the cool kids, or whatever you want to call it. And we invited everyone over and we charged everyone $1 to come over to our room to like have this sleepover party thing.
Whoa.
And we got suspended. We got taken home. And I have the most vivid memory of sitting in the back of the principal's car and there was a $2 coin on the floor. That's the only memory I have of that like exact scenario.
What?
I just remember being in the back of the car and got suspended for it because I was a part of the silly games that we were playing there.
I think that's genius, though.
Well, there you go.
Do
early businessman.
Yeah, early business, early entrepreneurship.
But yeah, so I always had some issues with teachers and getting time out or sitting outside, getting told to sit outside. And it was one of those things. They always try to move me around, but I at that point had made a few different friends, so you could put me anywhere and
you could just blend with anyone.
Yeah,
With
the kind of like fake it till you make it thing really worked well for me with like making friends or whatever.
Wow. With being that class clown, because in a way I can relate, I lost my feet in school, so you would always find that gratification with making people laugh, being stupid, doing dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Was it because you were a bit uncomfortable about something?
I'm not too sure. I think I like looking back now, I'm always the guy, and that's why a lot of people hate me when they meet me first time, because I'm very loud and obnoxious and outgoing, and for a lot of people that can be quite uncomfortable. And especially like the level of humor that I have with certain people, or how not crude, but sometimes I can like, make jokes at the expense of someone else. And if you don't know me, or if you're just coming in, or if you're just standing around, you're going to be like, who's this idiot? And obviously that coupled with the way that I look, a lot of people are just real quick to judge. So I don't think it was
right.
I mean, maybe I need to see someone about this. Maybe that was why I was the class clown, because of these like insecurities or lack of friends or something like that. But I'm not too sure. I still sort of run with that.
Because you weren't super athletic in school.
No, I wasn't at all. No. It was something that I never really got into because we moved around so much. But I guess that's a shit excuse. We moved around a lot, but I still could have got into sport. Both my parents aren't really into sport. My dad's never watched sport, not interested, one of those people. So he never pushed me to go into a sport of sorts, which is funny though. It brings me to my next story, which I told you I would tell
man.
on this podcast. When I was younger, when I was a baby, the first set of immunizations that you get, your vaccines and all that kind of stuff, I got it, and the nurse was very unsanitary with how she went about it. So I think from what my parents have told me, she used her mouth, because she was obviously holding me or something. She used her mouth to open the needle packet, so not very sterile. And I got the injection, and within a week or so, it completely blew up. My whole delt was ridiculous. My whole arm blew up, and it was. I don't want to say it almost fell off, because I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
But obviously, my parents furious, because they were like, "This is absolutely fucked."
Yeah.
And in that moment, my dad actually said, "What if he wants to become a bodybuilder, and he just has this ugly scar on his delt?" Which is crazy, because I was 3, 4, 5 months old at that time.
Wow.
And my dad had that
that
prediction,
frame.
And
That's
he wasn't a bodybuilder.
sick.
Like, he wasn't a bodybuilder. He wasn't into bodybuilding. He did do some workouts and stuff like that. He was strong, but he wasn't into bodybuilding. So it's crazy to think that he had that sort of like a vision, or the fact that out of everything he could have said about that scar, he was like, what if he wants to become a bodybuilder one day? And he just has this gross scar. And lucky I've now grown into it. It is still there, bit of a scar.
Let's see it, man.
Did I not show you last time?
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
So it used to be quite bad. No, quite bad. It was just bigger on my arm.
Yeah.
I used to tell people it was a cheetah bite in primary school. And people would believe me. They'd
Full
be like,
believed ya.
"Whoa, this African kid, crazy."
What?
So things like that, I think stories like that, and little like, I don't want to say lies, but just like making up stories, never let the truth get in the way of a good story, kind of thing. It just allowed me to grab people's attention. And
yeah, what was the storyline of this? Do you remember vividly on what you said? Because just relating to that story, I remember telling, it was year 4, I told everyone I taught my Siamese fighting fish karate.
That's sick. That's funny. That's very fun. Very random,
Yeah,
but
like
yeah.
these little things. So if someone broke in, my fish would be able to
Breathe air.
Yeah, breathe air and
karate
knock
chop
this
them.
thing out.
Yeah.
What was your story, like timeline of this cheetah attack?
I actually think it was one of my friends that made it up. That was with me. That was sort of just trying to flex, or because he was friends with me. He was like, "Look, I'm friends with this guy, and he's got this kind of thing." And then I just sort of ran with it because I can't remember when it was. Maybe year 3 or 4. My parents actually did an Africa talk at my primary school because they had a lot of what's it called, props, if you want to call it that, like African memorabilia or whatever. They brought them
Like
to
the
school.
traditional like totems and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
stuff like
sick.
that, like drums, some animal skins, stuff like that. So they brought that in and did like a full talk to the whole year 3 or 4 cohort, whatever it was at the time. And so everyone knew, that I was from there and this is the story, all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. And everyone actually drew a little animal, their favorite African animal, and they put it all on a huge poster.
I remember doing that, yeah.
And then they gave it to my parents, which was pretty cool. We still have that somewhere. Mum's pretty cool like that. She has all these little memories.
Just the box in the roof full of
random
shit.
things. Yeah.
Going back to the cheetah incident, obviously your dad pretty much jinxing that you would become a bodybuilder.
How cool is that?
That's insane, man. So do you think that with your dad predicting, well, he probably just said it lightheartedly at the time, like, what if he does this?
Yeah.
Did you ever ask him if he had a vision of this, or is it just something he said at the time?
That's something I need to ask him. Should I call him right now?
Actual?
Nah, I don't think he's working. But okay. I'm not sure.
What do you think he would say?
I think back that he grew up, like, he is 2 years older than Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he's mentioned him a few times. So he just grew up with all of his movies and like sort of grew up, knowing of him, stuff like that. So he might have had a vision, or I don't want to make up any stories for him. I'll actually ask him, and we'll circle back.
Yeah, that's cool,
another podcast
man.
just on that.
Yeah. Do you think the way he brought you up and your parents, because I know for myself, my parents are a lot more traditional. So you go to school, go to uni, get a well-paying job, respected industry and all this. Yeah. But if your parents had a vision of super successful bodybuilder, XYZ,
no way. I don't think so.
Wow, okay.
I don't think so. They, even up until like maybe a year or 2 ago, they didn't think that there was any money to be made as a personal trainer. And as a bodybuilder, you still don't make any money. So, there's no real like career path with that. And they are quite traditional, like your parents as well. Like they said I should finish my school to the highest of my ability. That's why I did my WACE exams, even though that was a waste of my fucking time.
Yeah.
Because I ended up just doing an apprenticeship. But they had no idea how the school system works. There wasn't really enough help around, what do you actually want to do? Oh, I guess there was, but I didn't really deep dive into what a mechanical engineer actually does for work, because that's what I wanted to do. I just sort of saw, okay, I'm doing uni, I'm doing my WACE. What is there in terms of a mechanic kind of job? Because that's what I wanted to do. I've always been very mechanically minded growing up. Since I could walk, I'd been helping my dad on the farm fix shit, and I've got a bunch of like random artifacts that I'd made in the garage with him or in the shed.
Same, yeah.
Just random stuff when I was super young. I look at it now and I'm like, this is very butchered. But,
Yeah.
And Dad's always been very, very talented cabinet maker and just woodworking in general. So we've made skateboards out of wood and like little trucks and stuff like that. So pretty cool in that sense. So I've always had that like mechanically minded approach to things, and I was good at it. So I enjoyed it. Used to rebuild like lawnmower engines and stuff in the backyard in high school. Just random stuff like that. So
yeah, right.
It just made sense to become a mechanic. So when I found out what a mechanical engineer was, I was like, I don't want to do that. Like the designing side of things and the sitting in an office kind of thing.
Just drawing stuff, yeah.
Not my thing.
Was it hard, because our parents sound like they're a bit similar in this sense, was it hard talking to them about, look, I want to step away from my job to do this, and explaining to them, look, there's money in this. Just give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Was
the
that
biggest
process?
thing that my parents have always been very supportive of is do whatever I want. Like,
That's good.
it is really good in that sense. They're really awesome parents. I can't, thank them enough for how they brought me up and whatnot. They always, even though they didn't say go chase your dreams kind of thing, if I said, hey, I'm doing this, they'd be like, yeah, 100%, we'll support you no matter what, because I've always made something of whatever I've done, always done it to the best of my ability. So they'd always back me, put their full trust in me, I guess. And I think when I also did it, I didn't really ask for their permission. I didn't really tell them. It was more just like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And they were like, okay, cool, let's run it.
Let's
I think
see
they
it
would have
type
definitely,
thing.
yeah, they would have definitely been very skeptical at the start, and a bit, questioning it a bit. But seeing the success or how far it's come now, they're super proud. Mum always says she sees when like Dad's watching my reels or whatever, she's super proud. So it's cool.
Man, that's so cool. I feel like, let me know if you see this as well, but Perth is a very entrepreneur city. In Australia in a whole, there's a lot of young, aspiring and young entrepreneurs wanting to do all these insane stuff, which I feel like Perth is such the city to do it, because you can fuck up and get back on your feet reasonably quickly with the right support system, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Do you see that Perth has that similar persona, entrepreneurship, business, growth-minded community, or do you see
I think it's definitely here. But the thing is, you are also very limited with the resources and stuff that you have. Other countries are far more advanced in that sense, and you have a lot more opportunities. But I guess being in Perth, a lot of things haven't been done before. So if you can see something happening somewhere else and then you bring it to Perth, or you might be the first person in Perth to do something like that, I think there are a lot of opportunities for big growth and potential in that sense.
Is that what you did? Or did you...
As in...
Like the online coaching space? Because you were the first in Perth or Australia?
Just for FIFO,
like FIFO,
guys.
Yeah.
I think so. I haven't really gone out and interviewed anyone else if they've done it. I know obviously they've been online coaches for years before I'd been there. But I'd like to think that I was one of the first people that really honed in and focused on the FIFO side of things, with experience, with having worked in the industry for long enough. Because there's a lot of online coaches that have been FIFO for maybe a couple of years, just in and out kind of thing, which, doesn't discredit them by any means. But yeah, I'd done it for 6.5 years, and I'd been to different sites. I'd, moved around and done different jobs and worked for different companies. So yeah, I like to think that I was the first person to really go all in on that. And I see a lot of other people trying to do it now, but we stay on top.
We're the kings.
Yeah, exactly.
Your business. With the growth you've had so far, do you think it's more important to build up the brand or the business? Because I feel like there's so much information online where it's like, build up your personal brand can get you X amount of clients. There's all these tips, advice out there.
Yeah.
But with your niche and industry in fitness, do you personally feel it's better to build the brand or business sides of things?
I think they definitely go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You're not going to do well in either without the other.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
you definitely need to do both. And I think that's where you sort of need to make that sacrifice and just go all in and put all your time and effort into doing both well. But if I was to do one thing, or what I actually did was start with my personal brand. So I knew I wanted to be an online coach. I knew that was the online space. How do I get visibility? You have to be present online. So the first thing I did was a course on I don't know what the fuck it's called. Social media. There we go. Social media course. When to post, how to post, where to find trending audios. How long should your videos be? How do you do talking head reels? How do you do voiceovers? How do you script? All that kind of stuff. Everything that goes into social media and branding and building a personal brand.
Did you do this before you started posting consistently, or was this?
No, so that's what led to me posting consistently.
Right,
So
okay.
one of the biggest things that he taught was post consistently. And I posted consistently for about 6 weeks before I had some success with, having something go viral. And then I think a month or so after that was when I actually launched my coaching business fully.
Wow, okay. Personal branding, what would be your definition of a personal brand? Because it's obviously personal. How do you view this sector if you were going to summarize it in one sentence?
It's whatever you make of it. And if it's not whatever you make of it, then it's just going to be a copy of someone else, and then you're not going to go anywhere. So if you don't create your own definition of personal brand or what that means to you, then you're just going to be copying someone else. And there is so many people that do that out there that just copy other people. And don't get me wrong, I've copied heaps of people. Some of my most viral videos have been straight copies, but because I put my own spin on it, or because I do my own little thing with it, it just gets traction again and it gets views.
Wow.
So you have to really define that yourself and what you want to do. If you want to just talk to the camera, if you just want to do scripted videos, if you want to take people on a journey, whatever it is, it has to be you. And if people fuck with that, they're going to fuck with that. And if they don't, then it might be time to reassess, because the algorithm doesn't lie. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If a video is going to do well, it'll do well. It doesn't matter what time you post it, what trending audio you put on it, all that kind of stuff doesn't matter, because if it's going to do well, it's going to do well. That's it.
Do you see that we were talking about the algorithm and all this when we caught up for coffee? Do you see some big misconceptions with personal branding that constantly comes up with what you've seen?
You run that again? In
yeah,
what
so
way?
With the whole personal branding sector, do you see that there's common misconceptions about the brand? You were saying that a lot of people do copy.
Yeah.
Is there?
I guess people, a lot of people try and focus too hard on getting everything right and doing the perfect things. And so many people have talked about this as well. I think Alex Hormozi is one of the better ones that's talked about this, is if you spend all year perfecting one video, someone who's posted one video every day has had 365 more chances to build their brand than you have.
Good point.
It's a volume thing in all aspects. And people are like, oh, you got to, post quality over quantity. No, it's not. If you post quantity over quality, at some point, unless you're really fucking stupid, the quality will increase.
Yeah. Okay.
If you don't strive to increase the quality of your reels, of your content, then you're never going to get anywhere. Then it doesn't even matter if you're posting quality over quantity, because you're not going to move at all. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
It always is. And you can't predict what's going to do well. There's certain things that I've edited on the drive home with my knees on the steering wheel. Took me 5 minutes to edit, and I posted it, put my phone down, and it's gone mega viral. And then I've done other things where I've sat in front of the computer, I've planned it out for 3 days, I've done, used a camera, all this kind of stuff. 1,000 views doesn't go anywhere. So you just need to put videos out.
So does that, you were saying obviously the volume is so important, which I agree. But if you're focusing on volume and as a result you're sacrificing the quality, that is...
I've seen that as well. Before, just to cut you off there, but
Yeah.
I've seen that as well. I've seen a lot of people they have posted for weeks and months on end, and they don't strive to improve their quality, or they don't have anyone, and this is why I love having a coach in that sense, or someone to tell you when a video is shit. If no one's telling you your videos are shit, you're not going to strive to improve, and you're just going to keep posting the same shitty videos for the next 2 years. You're not going to go anywhere. I follow a few people that are like that. I feel sorry for them, because they just don't know how to improve, or they don't have the right, guidance or whatever. And that's why if you can't hack it yourself, give it a crack yourself. I think I posted for a few weeks before I signed up with someone, and I was like, man, this is too hard. Let me get someone to help, because that's what it's about. It's about having someone there to be like, yeah, this is good, this is not good, change this, change that. And that's where that coach that I initially had was so good, because he used to do weekly calls, Zoom calls, and you were able to submit one piece of content for the week, and he would go over it and dissect it, tell you where you went well, tell you where it went wrong. It's things like making your captions smaller on the screen, placing them near your mouth so people can actually see what you're saying and read at the same time. That's something I only did recently. I used to have my captions at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
But then it's like people are watching the captions but not me. So little things like that will make a difference, and it's that 1%er every time that's just going to improve week on week. There's people that are like, no, I need to get a camera, I need to get mics, I need to do this and that. And then there's someone that's just talking to their phone and they're getting killer views. And I guess something that also goes into that and something that you can't control is your personality, your characteristics, your traits, who you are, what you look like, all that kind of stuff will also play a role. And I think that's if we talk about one of my biggest struggles with content is just freely talking to the camera without a script or with no intention. I do it every now and again, and I'm like, I don't normally sound like that when I talk. That's why I love podcasts, because I'm just talking, rambling, going on different tangents and telling it how it is. But I feel like when I'm looking at myself in the screen, I'm like, bro, what? Or I watch the video back and I'm like, I don't normally sound like that. Like, why am I talking in that sort of way?
Why is this so fucking cringy?
Why is it so hard? Yeah. But I guess other people don't see it like that, and that's why it's still good to just post it. So that all also comes into play with doing well in social media.
When you had this coach and you were submitting these reels to him, how many years ago was this?
2023.
2023. Yeah. What were you going wrong with these videos at the time?
That's a good question. I think because of how I went about it, I watched the whole course. He had his course as well, like some units on, I think, school or just his own website or something. So I watched all them. I knew how to edit things, and I grasped the concepts pretty quickly. And I don't think he had much to say about my reels most times. Sometimes it was just too long, or the hook wasn't great. Like, you could word it differently, or I think one of the things I've really improved on over the span of the years is being a very harsh critic on what to edit and cut out. Because you might make a reel and you're like, okay, I have all this cool stuff to say and this is all relevant information, but people aren't going to watch it. You have to be so harsh and just cut. I've cut like 10, 15 seconds out of certain reels because I'm like, people will drop off there. And that's just something that you learn over time with watching other people's content as well. Just being like, when are you going to swipe? For most people, it's instantly because they don't get their hook right. But if you just ramble and go on and you say and you say and think about things.
You're not getting straight to the point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you have things that are in there that might not be as important or as valuable or as interesting. So yeah, it's still relevant to the topic, but people aren't going to watch through those 10 seconds to then maybe get to the end where you've got some absolute heat. So cut it out. Cut that out. Be your harshest critic.
Is that something your coach picked up on when you were first starting, that your videos were too long and needed to cut it down a bit more?
Yeah, just the pacing, like a lot of the pacing, like even certain things like, adding B-roll footage over the top, moving things, zooming in a little bit, cutting in, cutting out. That's one of the biggest things that he sort of taught, was having different aspects. Every 3 seconds you want something to change. Otherwise you lose people.
Yeah.
So whether that's just like zooming in or cutting to a different frame or like moving camera, like we've got 3 cameras here right now. So just like moving between cameras, stuff like that. That's what keeps people engaged and hooked in. So stuff like that was the biggest learning curve, I guess, for me. Going into
Interesting. When you see online coaches nowadays, I feel like this is an industry that's boomed. Like it's getting very popular.
Yeah.
With what you've observed with the mistakes you've made, what do you think these startup creators, personal branders are getting wrong, which you need to point out as such? Because you've obviously made these mistakes before.
It's tough.
Is there a common
I don't think there's a common thing. I think like everyone's so different. And like I've already touched on the copying side of things. So people are just trying to jump straight into, copying a certain style or copying a certain person. But the biggest thing is just consistency. Like most of these people don't post consistently enough. They'll be there for a week, gone for a week, back for 3 days, that kind of thing. And where we talk about the algorithm and, what that does, the algorithm rewards consistency. So there's a reason why you get your monthly recap, your weekly recap. And just this week, they brought out a little screen that said, hey, by the way, you've been posting for X amount of weeks consistently. Mine was,
Right.
I think mine was 176 weeks, which is 3 years and 5 months that I've been posting.
Every single day?
Not every day. I think it's every week.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
So at least once a week I've been posting for the last 3.5 years. In the last 2 years, I'd say it's been daily, or at least 5 times a week, because I have missed some days. I'm not that crazy with it. But yeah, so Instagram keeps putting out these things like, hey, this is your monthly recap. This is how many reels you've done. And they keep saying, like, your consistency has increased the amount of views you get. Like, it's all over Instagram. So that is the one thing that you need to do is just be consistent with it. And it doesn't have to be daily. You can work up to that. But just find something that works for you and then go all in. That's been the hardest thing for me over the last year is finding that one topic that you can just talk about and make 6 different reels about. Everyone always uses Adam as a example because he's so good with it. Like he just talks about fat loss, calorie deficit, and eating whole foods and, having a little snack in there. Those are like 4 main topics, but that's all he talks about. And as someone that's in the industry, I watch his videos. I'm like, okay, I've seen it. But he does it in a different way, films it, refilms it, does it differently, different props, different people in the videos, this and that he can just keep posting the exact same topic for weeks and months on end.
Experimenting with different things as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
You've got
exactly.
to do that for sure.
A couple of questions from people who want to ask you
I got to look at
a
that
few
as well.
things. Yeah.
Put a question box up, see if anyone threw something in there.
I got a couple here so far.
Yeah.
This is a screenshot from a few hours ago, so I'll double check on the gram shortly. What's the best way to keep clients on board for longer?
Have a good service.
Is it that simple?
It's that simple, yeah.
Tell me more about
like
this.
I see this, I guess with that, aiming to improve your service is a big thing as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to come from knowledge. I haven't been the biggest person when it comes to like upskilling. I know a lot of people that have done like this course and that course and they've done this and that they have crazy knowledge, props to them. But the service that you deliver just has to be so rock solid that people don't want to leave. And I guess the biggest thing for us is that community aspect. So for me, again, I was one of the first people to really popularize handing out the shirts like you've got on right now. Every single one of my clients that signs up gets a free shirt. So you have something physical where you're like, hey, I'm now a part of this. And just creating that community, people want to stay in. And that's one of the biggest things that I say on my, consultation calls now as well. When I'm talking to new people, I'm like, hey, you're going to be a part of the RML community, which is really, really cool because 90% of our guys work FIFO. Everyone in there is working towards a common goal, whether that's fat loss or muscle gain. Everyone keeps each other accountable. Everyone keeps each other motivated. And once you're in there, you don't want to leave. So I guess anyone can get someone to eat in a calorie deficit. Anyone can, give you a meal plan and a workout. It's not that hard. You can get that from ChatGPT. But no one's going to be able to give you that sense of community, that sense of belonging, and that sense of like, hey, we're all going to make it. We're all in the same boat. We're all, working towards something cool. So I think that's the biggest thing that people can work on is providing value through different aspects, whether that's, a community, doing some in-person events, challenges, all that kind of stuff. So
with the community aspect, what do you look at in the community? Because obviously we went to Duncan Fit Run Club 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Dugan.
Yeah. You're all good.
Dugan Fit Run Club.
Yeah.
And that community is a lot more personal, I would say. There's that on your level vibe that I got. That was the first time going there, so it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And same with you.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
100%.
And there's so many different run clubs. There was City Beach Run Club, Early Ones Run Club, which are doing very well, but each community has a different vibe.
Yeah.
Which is obviously determined by the host.
Yeah.
How do you go about setting the bar with the community aspect?
Like from my personal community?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess being active in the community is what's important. For obviously Liam, shout out to him. He's really good at that because he makes sure he goes around and greets everyone the same, gets excited about everyone being there the same, that kind of stuff. So I think for us, the biggest thing is we have a bunch of different channels. So we have like a gym wins channel. We have a non-gym related wins channel and a main chat, all that kind of stuff. So different people posting in different areas. And whenever someone has like a small win or whatever, and we post it in there or they post it in there, everyone just gets around each other. So it's really cool for, new people coming in there to see that. And then those people actively, participate in that kind of stuff as well. And setting the standard yourself. So I'll post in there, I'll post some gym wins. And because I used to get in my head about it a lot, just being like, well, why would anyone want to post anything in here if I've just posted a 5-plate hack squat? I'm doing 12 reps or whatever. And other people are doing 1 or 2 plates.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a minute. These people are here because they were intrigued, motivated, or whatever by what I've done. So me posting this in here is only going to lead to more motivation or
Good
just
point,
setting a standard.
yeah.
Because if there's people in there that get jealous of that, then they're in the wrong community. And I think just setting the standard yourself as the host or owner or whatever is really important. And just getting around everyone that's in there and treating everyone the same is really cool. So
such a valuable point. The second question, what FIFO stereotypes do you want to break and why?
I'm going to get so much hate for this, but digger fitters thinking that their shit doesn't stink. There's a certain group of digger fitters that think they are the most important person on a mine site, it is to an extent, it is true, because if an excavator goes down, you can't move dirt, you're not loading trucks, you're losing a lot of money. So it's like, hey, you need to fix this thing right now. We're losing $100,000 an hour here. So you can get that little bit of an ego with it because you end up thinking that you might be the most important person on the mine site. But there's a lot of really good digger fitters out there, and I'm currently working together with Pat. He's a legend. He's such a cool bloke. And he just destroys that, aspect completely because he's so un-ego driven kind of thing, if that's even a word. But yeah, I've worked on a lot of sites where those people, and they just belittle you or just treat you differently because they think that they're on a different level. So the purple circles with FIFO is the biggest thing that it hurts people because they're not a part of this thing because of X, Y, Z. For me, for a long time, it was because I didn't drink. I went to the gym, and because I didn't drink, I wasn't a part of the drinking purple circle. So, I would be not necessarily excluded, but I wasn't a part of that. So people didn't want to talk to me. They weren't as, friendly to me or whatever.
Yeah,
and that's
especially
fine.
in the
Like,
culture
I
of
don't
Australia
care.
too,
I don't care about that at all. But, it still sucks when you're there for 2 weeks. You're there longer. You're with these people more than you're with your own family. So, you sort of have to either just do your own thing or hope that you get with a good crew of people. Makes or breaks you. And I guess, what was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, yeah, it's the way I describe FIFO to people that haven't worked FIFO, it's like being back in high school. You get different people talking shit about you.
Yeah, right.
Someone thinks his shit doesn't stink. There's little different groups depending on what your hobbies are, stuff like that. And it can get quite nasty as well because, you're just in this like completely excluded place. And I also, one thing that I saw, a really common trend was people or blokes that were super insecure or had issues at home would just put on this completely different persona when they were at work.
Wow.
Just bossing people around, or especially apprentices and stuff like that, just, not giving them the time of day. And then they'd pop up as suggested friends on Facebook. And I'm like, bro, what is this life that you live? Like, you're pretending to be some big shot on site. And then I can see his profile pictures, him and his, I'm not going to go into detail there, but I saw it just so many times, like people just putting on a persona when they come to work because no one knows who you are. No one knows your background. No one knows where you've come from. You can just pretend to be someone completely different and just live a completely different life up there.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I feel like I've been in the trades for 3.5 years, and even what you're explaining now, I can kind of see different perspectives with working with different people, different companies. Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up. Do you see it being a super bad problem which people aren't necessarily aware of when they do start.
Yeah,
this
and I think it's
FIFO
not really
journey.
talked about a lot. It can ruin someone's FIFO experience completely. Because
Hmm.
like I said, you're with these people 12 hours a day for 14 days straight. And then you come home, you have a little bit of time off, and then you're back there. So if you have a good crew, it's sick. Like, I've worked with some really, really awesome crews, and it's just been one of the coolest experiences of my life. Like, I look back on my FIFO experience, had a couple of negative experiences there for sure, but they pushed me to different areas, which then allowed for a better experience. So,
Good point.
in that sense, there are majority of the people there are really cool because everyone's in the same boat again, and everyone's just like, hey, let's just get shit done, man. Like, there's no point for drama or arguments or issues.
Literally.
And there's just some really cool people out there that you meet that take care of you in different ways. Like, one of the biggest ones that really elevated who I was as a mechanic was one of the leading hands at the first mine site I worked at. He was super old school. And he was like, you are the future of this trade. Like, you're an apprentice. I was a fourth-year apprentice. He was like, we have to give you the best jobs. We have to teach you properly. So he put me together with one of the older tradies who just had so much patience and taught me so much, because he was like, if you're sweeping the floor and then you're qualified, what are you going to do from there? You're going to be a shit tradesman. So we need to give you the biggest
good
jobs
perspective, yeah.
so that you can learn as much as you can. And from there, just, become a really good tradesman. And I think that really elevated, where I was and how my FIFO journey began, because this bloke believed in me.
Yeah, I
Put me in a
love
good
that.
spot.
Richard, I usually ask the same question after every single episode, but I'm going to change it up for you. If all your content, videos, photos, and platforms were erased from the internet and all you had was the next 60 seconds to say one thing to the audience, what would you say?
Ooh, that's interesting. What's the goal here?
You tell me, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got 60 seconds
Yeah.
and all your content, social media, messages, brand will be erased.
Yeah.
In the next 60 seconds, what is the most valuable point you could tell to the listener?
I guess, as cliche as it is, everything happens for a reason. From the very start of my journey to where I'm at now, if everything didn't happen the way that it did, I wouldn't be in this position. There's certain things, tragedies and losses and big setbacks that have happened in my life where I thought I was not going to recover from it. But it's all led me to where I am right now. And I guess a lot of people are still stuck in that phase where they think they might not be or become anything that they want to, but being resilient and continuing to move in the right direction and doing things that are going to allow you to move in that direction is what's really going to help you push through that. Because it's I do and don't believe in what I just said, because certain things are a lot worse than others. Like, I think I've had a pretty decent life in the sense that nothing insane has happened, but there've been a lot of setbacks and different things that have happened that probably would have been better without it. But it's led me to where I am today. So I think just resilience is one of the best traits that you can have as a human being, because you're going to get thrown around. You're going to get thrown around. And even I've not even lived half of my life yet. I reckon there's going to be a lot more challenges that are going to come at me. And I think if you can learn to be resilient, that is going to lead you to where you want to go. It's going to be setbacks.
I love that,
It's gonna
man.
be times where you cry in the shower, but it's just about picking yourself back up and continuing to move forward.
Yeah, love that. What is the best advice you've ever received and why?
The best advice. That's a good question. I've received so much advice over my years because I've been privileged to work with different people from different walks of life. But I think being true to yourself is so important in this day and age. Like we've already touched on, the whole copying side of things and people getting, getting views from not being themselves, because at some point it is going to come back to you at some point. And like I've recently seen this. There was someone, a huge fitness influencer who had like 2 million followers, sorry. And he did something shit, and people actually went and looked through his past. They looked back and they found out that he was completely changed his persona, actually changed his name, all that kind of stuff. So
Holy
if
shit.
you can be, do you hear about that? Scotty K Fitness?
No.
You know the guy with the huge mustache? American guy?
Is that the guy who sweeps the floors?
No, that's the strong guy.
Yeah. He's sick.
Antonio or whatever his name is.
Antonio, that's it.
No, it's so, it always catches up to you. And he had a past of like domestic violence and, stuff like that just caught up to him. So just be yourself, because in a day and age like today, people can just find out anything. And it comes out at some point. Always does.
Such a good point. Richard Detering, thank you so much for coming onto the
you.
growth
Thank you
concept.
for
I
having
wrote a thank you card to share
wow,
my
that's
appreciation for you, and I
Yeah.
really value this conversation, the opportunity to
That's awesome.
bring this conversation to this table and to the listeners. And I'm sure I've learned so much about you, and with sharing that personal story at the start, I could really connect. And I think what you were talking about with the whole branding sides of things is people are way more than just the image or brand. There's actually a human being, personality, struggles, setbacks behind this person, which you share, but there's a lot of other stuff underlining surface which people don't see,
know.
but people connect with.
Yeah.
So Richard, thank you so much. All your links.
Before we wrap this
Yeah.
up, I did actually get 2 questions, and these
Beautiful, yeah.
people would hate me if I didn't read these out. So
100%.
someone said, Vic said, what are the pros and cons of working FIFO in my opinion? So I'll keep this nice and short. Pros, obviously it pays really well, and if you're able to utilize that money, leverage it, like I've been able to do, then it can be a really good thing. But if you just live day to day, paycheck to paycheck, it's going to be absolutely terrible. Obviously, cons, the lifestyle can take away from a lot of things. You're not here, you're not home. So it's definitely something I'd recommend. If you're young, if you don't have any commitments, go do it. It's going to help you elevate your life, I guess, if you utilize it properly. And a lot of health things as well, depending on where you work. There's a lot of cons in that sense, the extreme heat, the dust that you're breathing in, all that kind of stuff. So I guess there's plenty more pros than there is cons, in my opinion. I would definitely go and do FIFO again.
You would?
If push comes to shove or whatever. Obviously, I'm too busy right now, but I am working on something where I possibly will be going FIFO again.
Wow.
Not as a mechanic, but we're working on something. Then, that's a first, exclusive. If people have listened this far into the episode, there you go.
100%.
And we've got a question. How big are your dreams? Do you aim far or just within grasp? This is a really cool question because and you can answer this as well, but I personally set massive goals for the future, because I think without those unrealistic goals, you're not going to be able to set smaller ones to work towards it. But I don't focus too much on the big goal. I focus on what I need to do right now to continue to move forward. So obviously, if you have that huge unattainable or out of this world kind of goal, that's cool. But you need to know how you're going to get there. And if you don't know how you're going to get there, you don't know how you can move forward and improve and keep pushing forward. Because even just setting smaller goals, if you're not actioning what you're doing, and someone said this, one of my good friends said this, if you're not actioning your goals, or if you're not getting after it, then the goals don't matter. So stop writing goals down, action things, go do some shit.
100% agree with you. In the sense of goal setting, it's like, why are you setting your 6-month goals and weekly goals when you don't even know where you want to be in the next 10, 20 years? So set those ones first, which is something I've learned a lot recently, is not going too far. Maybe set 10 goals, have an Aston Martin in my driveway, retire my parents, and then work backwards from there, like what you were saying. What can I do today?
Things you need to action.
Literally, man. It's keep it simple. Don't.
And the thing is, like, goals are good, don't get me wrong. Don't stop writing the goals down. It's a tool. And it's an excuse for a lot of people to sit down and actually have a think about it. It's just like all those people bashing the new year, new me people. I'm like, I do it as well. I think it's funny that, people are waiting for this date to start. But I tell everyone, it doesn't matter, because if that is your reason, if that is the one reason why you actually make a start, or actually get after it, then fuck it, let it be that. There's different people that are like, you know, I want to do this first or that first, and then I'll start. As long as you actually action it, that's cool. Like,
For sure.
make sure you actually do the thing that you said you were going to do, and not just write it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your host, Keone Upton, and your guest, Richard Detering. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.